Across the road from me is a park, and the layout is pretty much a low valley surrounded by hills and forest. All the houses are across the forest on the upper half. The park is very secluded, and you can't really see it unless you're in the park or at the opening at the top of the hill. At the bottom of the main hill is a playground, and on the other side of the park is a small path that goes deep into the forest besides the other hill, and a field at the top of the hill, probably almost a football field length away from the playground. I go into the forest for runs once in a while because of how secluded it is from everything, and it being right after Easter, I really needed a run. So I bring my dog, a small Australian shepherd named Lily. I usually allow her to be off from her leash once we get to the bottom of the hill, and she goes running. But this time I felt strange, like I should keep her close. I ignored the feeling and let her run off anyway. She gets 2 feet away from me and stops dead in her tracks and lets out a super low growl, one I've never heard her make before. Suddenly, this very large fat man jumps out from the side of the forest, yelling at my dog and telling her to shut up. So I quickly grab her and put her on a leash and slowly make my way across the park to the opening. I feel his eyes burning into the back of my head. So before I go into the forest, I look at him with my peripherals, and he's standing in the same spot staring at me from across the park. I start my walk in the forest and suddenly get this shiver up the back of my spine and feel like I want to puke. I snag another look, and he's walking towards the path I just went into. My dog is squealing and whining and acting so strange. So I jog into the forest until I know for sure that I'm out of his sight. I jump off the path and into the forest and run up the hill and hide behind some trees. Sure enough, I look over and he's running into the forest behind me. He actually runs right by me. At this point, my dog almost peed herself, so I ran up and across the field and back home. I watched out my window, waiting for him to see if he came out of that public walkway. But instead, he comes from the field. If he had intentions of taking a hike through the forest, he would have exited the path on the other side, or come out and gone across the park to use the public walkway, and left. But he chose to go halfway through the path, and then through a bunch of trees and across a muddy field. I don't doubt that he was looking for me.